Hello, good morning everyone. Welcome to Ice Cream Uploads here on Thursday, the 16th of June. I hope you're having a fantastic day so far. I've seen Nicho put the time, he's put the time exclamation mark in there as well. It's not morning, you are absolutely correct. To be fair though, I did go live during the morning, so we officially went live this morning. So that's how I'm welcoming you, as if it was 10 minutes ago. JMK's in here nice and early as well. Enzo's in here saying, word of warning. It's first, word of warning. I'm going to hate anyone who was here before me. Well, Lake wasn't here before you, so you can't hate Lake. But Nietzsche and JMK, it's average to hate them bums anyway. But I hope that you're having a fantastic afternoon / morning so far. It is now 12:05 in the afternoon. But I do bring good news. First of all, I need to turn my lights on. I'm not usually here on a Thursday, but my car is currently in the garage. And it isn't being seen to till Monday, so I need to go and pay for it and pick it up because something's gone. The turbo's fine, which got replaced last year. That cost me £1,500, but something else has gone on the car now. It feels fine to drive, but they're telling me that there's something wrong with it, so we'll see how much it costs. And I think, do you know what? Is it worth it? But they can't see it until Monday, so I don't know how I can actually I have to turn my lights on with this because for some reason my remote that I use for my lights don't work anymore, so we have to do it with over the Wi-Fi with my phone, which probably isn't going to work now because I have had new internet put in. Yay! New internet. What that means is that I now have better internet than Graham. So I was running about 65, 70. I'm now running 280 up. However, through my wired connection on my PC at this moment in time, I'm still only getting like 60, 70 because I've got a Cat 5 cable. I need a Cat 7, which is arriving tomorrow. So hopefully my PC will be back up to those dizzy heights. And what it does mean though is that I'm probably now able to try Game Pass on my mobile through xCloud, which is fantastic. I would have loved to have been able to do it from my TV as well, but apparently it's only Samsung TVs that are having this Xbox app being put into it. So my brand new 75-inch LG TV, my 4K one, my pride and joy, I can't play Xbox Game Pass on just yet. But there's always time. There is always time. Lake says, actually, no, the day fucking sucks and I'm busy as hell at work. Well, I am busy as hell, so hopefully this won't be a long podcast. I'm aiming to get it done. I'm literally going to fly through this because I didn't have time yesterday. Again, super busy at this moment in time. For those of you that have worked or are working in the video games industry, this time of year is ridiculous. And we've got one person who's currently ill, which is Graham. He's still suffering from last week. He has mentioned that he has got COVID as well. Which he sent me a disgusting picture this morning, and it wasn't of anything that you probably will ever want to see. I instantly deleted it, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. As well as Jack's in Florida, so there's only me and Luke at this moment in time, so we are kind of a little bit swamped. But I fucking love doing what I'm doing at this moment in time. I can't tell you what it is. Genuinely can't tell you what it is, but it's fucking well good. So I'm currently loving it, but it's just thick and fast at this moment in time. So I'm going to try and get through this as fast as I can, and then I'm going to get back to work. But yesterday was busy as well, which is obviously why I didn't go live. And I didn't have internet for about 2 hours because my internet was being swapped over. They never said that anything would be unplugged and it would go offline. But it did. So I was a bit fucked. I was like scrambling around trying to set on my laptop, tether hotspots and stuff like that. I was working till 7 o'clock last night to try and make up the time that I'd lost and to try and get ahead of today. You guys don't need to know this. You're all fucking getting bored of it. You went live on Saturday, but G didn't say happy Saturday to everyone when he was still live on Sunday. That's a very good point. But in 12, by then, his brain would have been an absolute fucking mess anyway. So here we go. By the way, this isn't tap water. I did put a picture in the Discord this morning of the lovely soft water here in Hyde. As if you wasn't in our Discord yesterday, this will probably blow your mind. But there is such things as hard and soft water. Apparently, hard water is rife for lime scale in the bottom of your kettle. However, soft water is beautiful. It tastes a lot better. It comes from natural sources, whereas hard water, it's all. Yeah, you know, I didn't know any of this until yesterday. So if you want to know more about water, then please feel free to join the ICU Discord and you'll find out a lot more. Could have just stuck Enzo stream on it. He's a turbo. Yeah, to be fair, I'll turbo your goth makeup right now of your eyelids, boy. What is that strawberry jam? Was a picture of Nietzsche. Yeah, I was in Scotland, soft water. It's the bomb. Was it the strawberry jam? Not sure what that means, but anyway, we're ready to talk about video game news, and by God, we are going to get through the news today. So I went a little bit clickbaity, as you probably can imagine. Something about a PlayStation 5 Pro. I had to. The word Pro was being used, and I thought, do you know what? It's happening. We're going for it. Ads is going to be here. He's not looking for the Nintendo Switch Pro, but however, I can give you some live exclusives on the scoop right now that Sony is reportedly planning to announce new hardware, including a PS5 Pro controller. And there we go. I've managed to bait you out enough to be able to say PlayStation 5 Pro. However, no one ever mentioned anything about a controller. So if you want to leave this stream now, feel free. If you want to leave this video now, feel free. If you want to if you are listening to this on any of our podcast services, feel free to ditch this as well. But anyway, written on VGC by Tom Ivan, it's claimed that a new console isn't being lined up for a reveal. There you go, boom. Lake says, oh, fuck off. Enzo says, I'll take the Pro Controller 100%. Anyway, Sony Interactive Entertainment is reportedly getting ready to announce several new hardware products, including a PlayStation 5 Pro Controller. In a report published on Tryhard Guides, industry insider Tom Henderson claims to have heard from several sources that the platform holder will unveil a new hardware at the end of June, although this won't include a new console. Described to Henderson as a genuine professional controller for the PlayStation 5, the new pad will reportedly feature removable analog sticks, grips, and trigger stops, and also back pedals. McTater Tot, thank you very much for the follow. Very much appreciate that. Buttons under the analog sticks are said to allow users to remove the analog unit completely, presumably enabling them to replace it with a new one rather than having to go buy a new controller should issues like stick drift arise. Henderson said it was provided with images of alleged prototypes for the PlayStation 5 Pro controller, which is claimed to have had significant software upgrades. Following reports of a delay, it was recently claimed that Sony will confirm November release date for God of War Ragnarok later this month. While unclear, the speculations that Sony could be planning to announce the game's release date, I have no idea what this has to do with a PlayStation Pro controller, so I'm going to completely stop there. So Pro controllers coming out for the PlayStation 5. I actually really love my DualSense controller. I think it's the perfect weight. It's the perfect size for my massive hands. I do feel like the lifespan of the controller isn't great. After like 4 or 5 months, the knot, the circle button, whatever you want to call it, wherever you're from, the knot, the circle button, the X starts to get a little bit sticky. There's a little bit of stick drift happening, and that was after like 4 or 5 months, and I just could not be arsed sending my controller back to not have another controller at the same time. So a Pro controller that you can potentially take buttons out and remove sticks and be able to swap them over in case it all goes a bit tits up, I'm all for that. However, I still feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't know whether or not this kind of thing exists yet, but do Scuff have a PlayStation 5 controller yet? Because I've noticed that Graham is still using his Scuff controller for his for playing PUBG rather than using a DualSense 5 controller. Now I know that he did use a DualSense 5 at the weekend, but his go-to controller is his Scuff one, which I cannot get my hands around. Like, I just don't think it's a naturally comfortable controller. I think it's like a PlayStation 5 and 4 controller morphed into one with a really weird sizing. Like, it just doesn't feel right in my hands, so I would never be able to use that anyway. But something like the Nintendo Switch Pro controller is probably one of my favorite controllers. And I'm going to say this with my chest. I'm genuinely going to say this with my chest. The Google Stadia controller is a fantastic controller as well. I do really, the weight of that is perfect. The size of it is perfect. The buttons are perfect. It's got a lot of feedback on the triggers and things like that. Controllers like that are definitely the type of controllers that I would love to be able to have a Pro version of for the DualSense. I do think the DualSense is a fantastic controller still. And the Xbox Series S and X ones are as well. I'm not throwing that one out there. They are extremely comfortable. I mean, I've still got this one. This is my... It's still got the old City badge on, by the way. Look at this. I still use this for my PC when I play my PC games. That's how old this one is. Like, the trigger, the analog sticks are all haggard. The triggers are all minging. It's been through the ringer, that controller, but it still works like an absolute dream. So the build quality of the old Xbox controllers are phenomenal, and they're still going 15, 16 years later. Ruin controller says, Iceman. No, I mean, to be fair, It's been through a lot, that one. It's been through a lot. How many times do we say Pro before ads appears? Says something to the tune of Switch Pro confirmed. Exactly. You need to will it into existence. And Tito says buttons are sticky. Stop watching porn on your PlayStation. Then nobody. I don't understand why people are watching porn on the PlayStation when they have a mobile phone to that. I mean, they probably want to watch it on the big TV, so they have both hands free. But when you have a mobile, why would anyone who watches porn on the laptop anymore? I don't know. Some people are weird. I mean, people was watching it on like the Nintendo DS. Like, why? But there we go. Nietzsche says, don't believe any third-party controllers for PlayStation 5. You can use third-party controllers for a PS4 game, but not for PS5. Yeah, that's what Graham does with PUBG. It's bizarre, like a year after the fact. It's like, what, it's 16, 17 months after the console being released and we still haven't got third-party controllers. It can't... Surely there must be something for that PlayStation stopping people from using third-party controllers. I can't see another reason why. Apple and elderflower water from Aldi, by the way, it's about 40p a bottle, sparkling. None of that still shit. It's the best water in the world, by the way. I'm just saying, if you're out looking for new water sources, Aldi, Apple and elderflower water is about 40p a bottle. You can't go wrong. But anyway, I know I said that we need to fly through this, and I was genuinely being genuine. We do need to get through this literally as fast as possible while trying to take your thoughts and impressions and our thoughts and impressions. You may already have figured out that we actually just completely disregarded what the scoop is and how you can find us. I will come back to that after this article. But you guys already know this by now. If you've got this in your inbox on Spotify, you already know how to find us. If you are watching this on YouTube, you already know how to find us. If you are watching this on Twitch live in the chat and you want to get involved, you guys already know how to find us. And I will go through that again at the end. So I do... Oh, God, I've just realised what's in the title of this article. Right. So, some of you may already know. Some of you may have taken part. But last weekend, we did play FIFA 22 Pro Clubs. And it's by far the best game mode that FIFA have ever brought out. And I love the fact that there was enough of us last weekend to be able to get a club together. We played with 9 players. It was too shy of a full strength squad. And I do believe that if we did have it on PlayStation 4, that we would have had a full squad, no problems. However, you guys may already know this one. For you Xbox fans that are out there, we could be having ICUFC on the Xbox. Written on VGC by Chris Scullion. He says that FIFA 22 is coming to EA Play and Xbox Game Pass Ultimate next week. EA's title will soon be added to the EA Play library, and there's some footballer here that no one ever talks about as the big image at the top, so we're just going to scroll down a little bit. FIFA 22 will be added to the playlist on EA Play next week. It has been confirmed. The latest entry into EA Football Series will be available on the playlist on June 23rd. This also means that it will be available on Xbox Game Pass Ultimate members who get EA Play access as part of their subscription. The EA playlist to EA's archives of legacy titles, which can be played with anyone with the EA Play subscription. That means Xbox, PlayStation, or PC, or an Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription. At the moment, EA Play offers 10-hour game trials of FIFA 22, but this will be replaced by the full game on June 23rd. FIFA's edition now means that all of EA Sports 2021 titles, including FIFA 22, Madden 2022, NHL 2022, and F1 2021, are available as part of the EA Play subscription. Last month, EA started testing cross-play online multiplayer in FIFA 2022, but is currently only limited to the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series S and X, and Stadia versions of the game, meaning that Xbox One, PS4 and PC players are being left out for the time being. It's also been added to the EA Online Seasons and Online Friendlies mode, meaning it won't be coming to FIFA Ultimate Team, at least in FIFA 2022. As a February report by Xfire claimed that FIFA 23 would include crossplay for the first time in the series history. EA's decision last month meant it came earlier than that, albeit limited to certain modes. FIFA 23 reportedly featured both men's and women's FIFA World Cup, and it's claimed that EA plans to expand its license agreements currently in place with the Women's League and teams. Whew! Whew! So I've got the window open so everyone on the street could definitely hear that. But anyway, I'm excited. I hope you guys are absolutely excited as well. We are potentially we are potentially 6 or 7 months away from FIFA being crossplay, but we're even closer to the fact that we could be playing some pro clubs in the coming weekends. I won't have my PlayStation with me this weekend, as again my car's in the garage, so it won't be until at least next weekend that we can get some pro clubs going. Graham may be able to boot it up, and you may all be able to get in there and have a game with him and that, but Bibby will not be taking over that left wing, right centre back, or right wing. You know, he's very versatile. He can play anywhere. He will not be joining the team, but the team will be available if Graham is, well enough to be able to log on and be able to play with you guys over the weekend anyway. But we're going to get some crossplay on FIFA 2023, hopefully. Hopefully, ICUFC will be across the board. Hopefully, we'll be able to bring Chappers in on the PC. We'll be able to bring Tito in from the Xbox wings, and we'll be able to have a full-strength team. And that, my friends, is where the future of gaming is. I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago in a tweet. I still think the future of gaming is being able to play something like Diablo Immortal on my mobile phone and then be able to log in on my PC and be able to pick up where I left off. That, for me, is the future of gaming. And I hope that this is the kind of thing now where it is just universal. It's cross absolutely everything. I don't necessarily mean that everything needs to be designed for mobile and then scaled up. I just hope if it's something that is capable of being able to be moved across platforms, like my PlayStation character that I've created in my football team will be able to be played on an Xbox. That will be fantastic. I hope, because if I was to download this on EA Play now, I would have to start my character again. I'd go back to rated 78 or whatever he is, rather than the 85 rated left winger that I've got now. Like, it just makes no sense. So hopefully across the board we'll be able to get that. That'll be fantastic going forward. Let's go back through the chat then. Waitrose Apple and Elderflower Squash is go. I'll definitely need to give that a go then. Never understood why Sony released the buttons for the back of the PS4 controller a year before the PlayStation 5 came out. They haven't released them for PlayStation 5. I know, it's bizarre, but I don't know whether or not I don't know how well the PlayStation 4 is still selling. Like, it must still be doing extremely well, because it was one of the best-selling consoles of all time. Like, it outsold Xbox. I think it was 4-1, which is ridiculous. So they are still selling them, but I just don't know how well they are selling now compared to the PlayStation 5. So I can't see the PlayStation 4 being discontinued anytime soon. I still think that's got like 4 years worth of lifespan left in it. In terms of games that are coming out for both PlayStation 4 and 5, as soon as they stop supporting the PlayStation 4, that's when it starts to lose a little bit of traction. But at this moment in time, games are still coming out for it, so they'll still be getting sold. Q being ridiculous for being posh at Waitrose. I mean, I think I've been in Waitrose once in my life, and it was the one on Manchester Piccadilly Approach. It used to be a co-op, I believe. It's not anymore. That's the only time I've ever been in a Waitrose, and it was one of them stop ones. It's, the local ones that's dead tiny. It's got like a a meal deal and maybe a few other things. That's about it. The best controller fit-wise for me was the original Duke controller, so much adapted to USB. It raged until I smashed it a little too hard to repair against my desk last year. I love the Duke controller. That, for me, was perfect for the time. When did that come out? When did the the original Xbox come out? Maybe 2001, 2002, maybe? And even then, Bibby's hands, look at the size of these bad boys. Do you know what I mean? They were perfect around that controller. And I would love to be able to use a Duke controller now, to be honest. I know they re-released them not long ago. It's just not something I've ever picked up. Are you a gorilla? That controller is massive. I think I can hear Tito celebrating from my house in Manchester. Why is Tito at your house? I knew one of you fuckers would put that, says Iceman. Nietzsche always claims to be that guy. Dave says, I used to have hand cramps after a few hours using the DualShock, most of the controls at the time. I used to get that from using this. I used to get hand cramps from like playing. I unlocked this, by the way, so I was playing like PES 2013 on it and stuff like that in 2014. Like, it's a fantastic console. This PS Vita, it's almost as good as a PSP. It just wasn't well supported. And I love the fact that it's got 2 analog sticks, so there's a ton of games if you was to ever jailbreak it, and be able to go back and play like PS1, PS2 games that use both functionalities of the analog sticks. Fantastic console, absolutely love it. But I had to buy one of them hand grip things just to make it a little bit more comfortable in my hands, because after like 25 minutes of playing that, you're fucked. Like, it's such a bizarre shape, and especially because it had a touchpad at the back. If you was playing any games that used it, you literally had to hold it not on the back plate, otherwise it just interfere with your game. So it was kind of useless, but also fantastic at the same time because of the power that was in it. But anyway. Lake says, Finland ready to miss open scoring opportunities in pro clubs. You only missed one, maybe, and then had one saved on the line from a diving header. I mean, there were some howlers being missed. I mean, it's a good job we had Beans up front, is all I'm saying, because Beans was an absolute fucking beast. Anyway, moving on to more Resident Evil news, because we haven't had enough of that this week. This is for you guys that are out there that think, oh, do you know what? Managed to get Resident Evil 7 in the PlayStation Plus collection. I'll be getting my PlayStation 5 version. Wrong. Written on Eurogamer by Victoria Kennedy. She states that this is a PSA. That free upgrade for Resident Evil 7 Biohazard isn't free for PlayStation Plus collection users. Mea culpa. Capcom announced its PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series S and X spruce-ups of Resident Evil 2, 3 and 7 as part of its showcase earlier this week. At the time of this announcement, Capcom revealed that those that yet to experience the game will be able to purchase the newly updated Xbox Series S and X, plus the PlayStation 5 versions from their respective stores, but existing owners of Xbox One and PlayStation 4 users will be able to grab the update to the relevant platforms at no additional cost. However, it now transpires that this is not the case for those that got their hands on Resident Evil 7 through the PlayStation Plus collection, something that is exclusive to the PlayStation 5. Instead, those users that have been playing the game via PlayStation Plus collection won't be able to experience the game with its full 4K resolution, high frame rates and ray tracing with 3D audio. They need to purchase the game separately. This is not the only bone of contention amongst Resi players right now. It was also revealed that Capcom had raised the minimum requirements on PC for its newly upgraded games, and once the upgrade patch has been applied, the game cannot be restored to previous versions if the game is even if the game is uninstalled. Elsewhere during Capcom's showcase, we got the news that Resident Evil Village will get its long-awaited DLC this October. The Winter's Expansion DLC will bring 3 new additions to the base game, including Mercenaries, the Additional Orders mode, a third-person mode for the main game, and also a story-based expansion called Shadow of Rose. As well as those eager to try out the multiplayer spin-off from Resident Evil Village, Reverse will be available on just 28th of October. No one's going to fucking play that game because it looks fucking toilet. And that is from an hardcore Resident Evil fan. I probably will play this for like 10 minutes. It might be fun. I might be completely disregarding and overlooking what Reverse could potentially be. But from the playtests and videos and opinions of people I hold in high regard, that game is going to die in its half. It should have been out a year and a half ago. It still hasn't been out. So Christ knows what that is going to end up looking like. But if you own a copy of Resident Evil 7 through the PlayStation Plus collection, unfortunately, we'll still have to pay full price for it. The thing about PC, and they mentioned a lot of people are up in arms about, I can see that being resolved. I can't see Capcom resolving it themselves. I imagine very much like when you play PES on PC, they have data packs on there. I'm fairly certain people have been backing up their data packs, and when that new version goes live, they will be able to reinstate it somewhere, because it will always just pull, like, very much, again, using PES as the example, if you had the older data packs and then you installed the new one, you can't get the older ones back unless someone saved the exe file of it. So every time you wanted to re-download it again, it would always pull the newest one, which it should do. It should always pull the latest version down, because that is the one that's had the most patches, that's had the most features, the most security. So it will always pull that one down. Someone will be saving these exe files. However, I did also see this morning, which isn't in this article, that anyone who's been modding any of the Resident Evil games over the years, including 2, 3, and 7, with all of the new mods, and some on 8 as well, that when these new versions come out, they will all disappear. All the add-ons, all the mods that have been created will be irrelevant to this. I think it's to do with all, obviously, the resolution and the textures and things like that. They just become incompatible. Again, there will probably be a fix coming out with that. It will just be a case of, if it's anything like PES, just putting one of the old data packs back in again. It'll pull all that information back through and you're able to play it again. It might be a case where you might not be able to have both of them running at the same time. So if you wanted to play the latest version of the game with all the bells and whistles, you might not be able to go back to the modded version. If you just want to play the modded version, that might be a case where you might have to sacrifice playing the newer one. It's a bit annoying. And I don't doubt that people will be able to find fixes for this going forward as well. Sorry, I was just like hiccuping a little bit. I was trying to cover it, didn't do a very good job of it, and I do apologize. Iceman says, so another Final Fantasy VII remake scenario. It looks like it. I don't think this is that deep, if I'm being honest. I do think that people will find, I mean, fucking hell, modders, hackers, crackers, all of these people will be finding ways, and they were jotting things down now about how they can try and salvage all of this modded stuff. It's what they do. It's how they get their kicks. It's how we as consumers are able to play these games to their absolute limit, because these guys are pouring their heart and souls into creating stuff. So Capcom will always give us the tools to create the best game that they can potentially make. However, there will be mods that are putting like fucking Thomas the Tank Engine as Nemesis, or as Mr. X, or fucking, I don't know, a giant teddy bear, or whatever it is that they decide to create as the antagonist. It is what it is, but they pour their life and souls into creating games like that for our benefit and our enjoyment, so I'm never going to insult them for that, because they're doing a fucking great job. I don't think I've ever played a modded version of Resident Evil, if I'm being honest. Like, I've played fan versions of the games, so like, what's it called? I've got it saved on my tabs here. Aidan Watkins. So he's created like a Barry's mod for the original Resident Evil, and Ada's mod, and Wesker's Rebirth, and Battle Mode, The Invisible Enemies, Hunter, Survivor Redux demos and stuff like that. Like, he's created so much shit that I have played, but I don't think I've ever played a modded version of the original games. I've only ever played fan versions of them. But anyway, we've got one more news story left for today. Again, I apologise that it's kind of like a flying visit, but I genuinely have got stuff that I need to get done as well. So I don't want to spend too much time on this today, unfortunately. But this was written on Eurogamer by Matt Wales, and he states that Bethesda confirms that Fallout 5 will be its next game after the... Oh, shit, I need to bring it up on the screen first. Oh, that'd help. Bethesda confirms that Fallout 5 will be its next game after the Elder Scrolls 6, and says that Starfield's main quest is about 30 to 40 hours, which is the perfect sweet spot for me. I love the fact that I can play games for 100 hours, and even if this game's 30 to 40 hours, I will still spend 100 hours playing it, because I will look at every single nook and cranny to try and find all collectibles that might not even be in the game, but we move. Anyway, when we last heard of Fallout 5, it was a little more than a one-pager idea that Bethesda may or may not have come to fruition. However, studio director Todd Howard has now confirmed that a new mainline entry in the beloved Fallout series is definitely happening, but won't be released until after Elder Scrolls 6. In conversation with IGN, Howard revealed that Elder Scrolls 6 is currently in pre-production, confirming previous rumours around the project's progress, before adding, and you know what? Well, we're going to be doing Fallout 5 after that, so our slate's pretty full going forward for a while. We have some other projects that we're also working on at this time as well. In other words, this is Bethesda's big title, sci-fi RPG Starfield, delayed until next year, and still no word of when a potential release window for the Elder Scrolls 6 is. Despite the game having been received its first official tease back in 2018, it sounds like there's going to be an extremely long wait until Fallout 5 sees the light of day. There's plenty more chatter about things Bethesda's IGN conversation with Howard, although unsurprisingly Starfield is its primary focus. Howard revealed, for instance, that the main game's quest will take around 30 to 40 hours to complete, and despite a boast of its 1,000 explorable procedurally generated planets, Starfield will feature more handcrafted content than any other previous Bethesda game. That include 4 main cities, with New Atlantis said to be the biggest city the developer has ever made. Howard's news splurge also continues the trends of the ever-loosening lips in relation to Starfield following its gameplay reveal during the weekend's Xbox showcase. Shortly after that unveiling, for instance, Bethesda confirmed Starfield's dialogue screens will be presented in first person throughout, and the main characters won't be voiced, which is fucking annoying. Starfield is expected to launch next year. I hate games that don't have... It just feels lazy. It genuinely just feels lazy that we don't have... Like any of the Elder Scrolls games, your character doesn't have a voice. And it just feels like it's a one-sided conversation constantly. I hate that. Just have someone voice the characters. It can't be that difficult. Like, have 2. Have a male and a female voice in there. That would be fantastic. So then at least you can choose which one you want to play as. It's just bizarre that we don't have that in 2022. Or in this case, fucking 2028. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be a tasty 10 years. I cannot see this. I cannot see Fallout 5 coming out. What we are now, 2022. At least, I don't think we're going to see anything from this until 2026. We've got Starfield, which has now been delayed till next year, which will take us into 2023. The Elder Scrolls 6 is already being worked on, so that'll probably take us to 2025 at least, before we see anything significant from that. So, in fact, I'm going to scrub what I've just said off there. I don't think we're going to see anything for Fallout until 2028, 2029. We're going to get some Elder Scrolls 6 maybe in 4 years' time, 2026. It's going to be a long slog, but hopefully it'll be worth the wait. I mean, we're definitely going to get a Skyrim. Oh, we've already got a PlayStation 5 version of it, so what are we even saying? They'll probably bring out a Super Deluxe Premium Anniversary Edition of Skyrim over to the console. They'll probably end up bringing Morrowind and Oblivion over to the console and make them 4K compatible on your PlayStation 5 before we even get to see anything from this. Again, shame, but it is what it is. Just give us Elder Scrolls 6 already. I agree. I've seen a few jokes about the release date being 2050. I mean, that wouldn't surprise me. Then again, how long will they spend re-releasing Elder Scrolls 6? Yeah, at least 4 times. I'm sure Skyrim's getting an anniversary edition on the Switch. Like, they've already got the standard version of Skyrim on the Switch, which I do have. Is it here? Oh, it's not on my shelf there. I put it somewhere. Oh, it'll be on the Skyrim shelf up here. It's up there. It's on the Skyrim shelf. So yeah, it's not as if we're not going to be getting other versions of it. I still feel like they're missing out on bringing They've got Elder Scrolls Online on the console. I still think that they're missing a beat, not being able to plug a USB mouse and keyboard in to be able to play that game to its full potential. There's so many more players that will be playing that on console that can't run it on their PC at full specs, but have to use a controller. It's annoying. Again, being able to port my character from a PC over to my console, it probably make me want to play my console in the front room a lot longer, but it is what it is. I can't control everything. As much as I want to see more Elder Scrolls content, I'm happy to be able to wait for a new story. I feel like I've played through a lot of Elder Scrolls over the last 15, 16 years. So I'm ready for a new the High Isles expansion on ESO. That's technically a new story I'd never before seen placed before, so that might be worth jumping into. But in terms of what we're going to be getting from a brand new, fully fledged 200-hour story, I'm ready for it now. I'm ready for it. I mean, I've got Starfield in between that, so I'm happy to see what that's going to look like. But yeah, that is it for today, ladies and gentlemen. I do appreciate it being only a fly visit today. The work stuff does come first, and I've managed to carve myself out a little bit of dinner time here to be able to bring you this during my dinner hour. So you are very lucky guys, do you know what I mean? It's not as if I'm going to fucking wilt away or anything, is it? Do you know what I mean? So I do hope that you all have a fantastic day. If you are watching this in any of our on-demand services, go into the description below. All the links that you require will be listed there to try and get through to us, whether or not it's going to be on social media. It's at Ice Cream Muttles across all major social media platforms, or get involved with our Discord. The Discord is popping off at the moment, ladies and gentlemen, so I do very much appreciate you all sticking around in there. I do believe that the person who won the loot drop has come into the loot drop but has yet to claim their prize. Graham mentioned and tagged them yesterday, and they are still yet to respond. So it could be tomorrow, 11 a.m, we're going to have another winner being drawn at this moment in time, because the Spot Hunter has not come to claim their prize. And can you believe that will be the third time this month that we're going to have someone being able to try and win this copy of Mario Strikers? We genuinely can't give this away. So do stay tuned for that tomorrow. I am going to send you over to somebody else's stream. I haven't figured out who it is yet. So if you do want to stick around, get some sprinkles, you'll be able to use them towards our next stream, whether or not that will be a level 3 headset game for Graham. Whether or not you want to be able to apply for a mod, etc., etc. All of those things are available there. But as always, guys, I do appreciate you sticking around. And until next time, stay frosty.